everyone, I'm Sabrina Claudio. Young Sabrina was definitely nothing like the Sabrina I am today. I've always known who I was. I was a lot more timid and a lot more insecure about being outspoken with who I was and my ideas. Yeah, I kind of grew out of that once I moved to LA, which was around 17, 18. But for the most part, I was a much different little girl. I started doing covers on YouTube just because my parents really encouraged me to do so because they knew I could sing. And I loved to sing, but I just did it as a hobby and, just to have something to do when I wasn't in school. It wasn't until I was able to get into my first studio session and I discovered songwriting that I felt being an artist was something that I wanted to do as a career. And I would say that was around maybe 15 or 16 years old. Yeah, I would say the first studio session was the first time I was like, oh, I want to do this as a job, not just for fun. So it took me a couple years to write a song fully from my heart and my brain. The first few sessions that I did as a teenager, a lot of it was me just being in the room and experiencing producers and songwriters write. So I was learning a lot. The first song I wrote 100% from my heart and not being told what to write or say was a song I put out called Confidently Lost. Before that, I wrote a bunch of songs with people that I just kind of allowed to tell me what to say. What I love about the album, though, is that everybody can listen to it and kind of fill in the blank as to who they're falling in love with. But for me, the album is dedicated to my future self. And we're always evolving, right? And we're always growing and we're always changing. And so my future self will just always be there. And that goes for all of us. We're always just trying to reach a certain level internally. And I guess that's just what the album is for me. It's just, there's so many things in my life over the past 2 years of creating this album that I've experienced, things that I've had to let go, people that I've had to let go. And I ended up choosing myself over and over and over again in hopes that I can reach the person that I'm trying to become and end up falling in love with her, with that version of myself. Conceptually, all the songs, I feel like people can relate to them in their own way, which is really beautiful. And I'm just excited to see how people absorb the music and absorb my experiences and how they can kind of put it into their life and the stories that will come from it. I think when I was younger, yes. And sometimes, when you're in certain relationships, it's easy to lose yourself. I would be lying if I said that I never questioned myself or who I was when giving myself to people. But once I'm finally out of that and I'm like seeing clearly and I'm back to my energy and I fully take everything back, I am reminded very quickly. But I do tend to love very deeply. And sometimes if I love too deeply, I open myself up a little bit too much. But I think it's inevitable, just as humans, as we allow people into our lives and into our hearts, to kind of lose yourself for a quick second, I feel everything all the time, very deeply, very intensely. So I don't know what it's like to not feel. And honestly, I don't want to be numb to anything. That wouldn't make me feel very good. So I would say to feel it all. I think if I didn't feel it all, then I wouldn't be the songwriter that I am. So I tend to say like my heartaches and my sadness and the pain that I go through is never in vain, because at least I can put it in music and put it out in the world and somebody can listen to it and heal from something that I've experienced. But I mean, feeling everything is not always so fun, but I don't know. I guess I'd rather go through the motions than to just not I have this song called Discouraged that I have cried to the most. It's about loving somebody even through the fear of losing them. I hope I never have to heal from you, but it's worth the chance to love you if I do. I think that's my favorite line of the entire album because it's like, I'm usually a very fearful lover, but I experienced this one love last year where I knew it wasn't going to end well. I just knew it because we were just two completely different people. Honestly, this experience of being able to love this person was worth that pain. I would say it is a very restricting. I don't date often. Typically find when if I end up talking to somebody or dating somebody, it's because I've met them naturally through work or at an event or something. I'm very protective of myself, my image. I don't trust people that they're going to keep our intimate conversations private. So it can get a little bit lonely actually, just not I personally just feel like I can't date or I can't meet people as much as I would like to, even when I go out with my girls. And then, when I finally give somebody the opportunity to come into my life, being an artist, and I'm very busy all the time and I travel. And, if somebody's not in that same industry or on that same wavelength, then inevitably it just kind of dies. I've even had this experience where I ended up finding out that this man that I was talking to had been DMing me for years. And he was pretending that he had no idea who I was. And he ended up being like this insane fan. You would think that that's a joke, but that's actually reality. It's kind of terrifying how little we know of people and how easily people just hide who they actually are. There's this mask that they have, and it's not until it's too late that the mask falls and you're like, oh, and then you gotta run. It's a whole thing, girl. It's a whole thing. It's funny, I just came back from Miami, literally 2 days ago. I'm from Miami. Hot, we're on South Beach. I got my booty shorts on, my butt cheeks are hanging out. I got my little top. And I'm like, this is so normal in Miami. And I realized I took that everywhere else and it's not normal. And I say that to say that I think I'm just a Miami girl at heart. And I love to be naked, appropriately naked as possible, tight, sensual, sexy. And I like to play around with different genres, right? Like pin-up-y, showgirl, doll. And then, on my everyday, it's a little bit more chill. Honestly, there's no in between. I'm either in athleisure, workout clothes. I do work out, but sometimes I just be going out in my workout clothes. I give a lot of credit to my stylist, Katie, but it's always giving hoe. It's always giving fashionista hoe, and I love it. I live for it. If I could walk around naked all the time, that would be my style. But I guess that's illegal, so you can't do that. I would say grace and patience is the two most important things you can give yourself during this process. I think a lot of the times we can, specifically with social media, comparing ourselves is a literal disease. And when we look at other people, we compare our pace of growth, of where we are in life, what we have, what we don't have. And I think if we just have tunnel vision and just focus on ourselves and focus on what God or the universe has given us in this very moment without looking around and saying, well, I don't have what that person has, or I don't look like her. I think tunnel vision is important. Loving yourself can be really difficult at times, but if you feel all the feelings and you forgive yourself for certain feelings and thoughts that you have and accept where you are in your life, I think acceptance, all of the above, is really important. So, final message, give yourself some grace, be patient, and believe in the pace that your journey is on.